So unfortunately, in his return fight, Nick Diaz did get finished by Robbie Lawler via TKO in the third round, but it was on Nick's own terms. He didn't get the lights shut off. He just got dropped and decided not to continue, kind of, is what it seemed like. He had enough. But like I said, the fight was stopped on his own terms, and it seems like there's a little bit of a speculation. I'm gonna make this video here to kind of discuss what should be next for Nick Diaz, and it seems like there was a bit of a discussion. I saw Jake Shields, a close training partner of Nick Diaz. He came on Twitter and said, hey, something about, Nick wanted to push the fight later. He wasn't ready to fight yet, but, many people, UFC, I'm guessing, Jake Shields didn't say UFC, but people wanted this fight to happen now, so Nick Diaz fought even though he wasn't ready, something like that. Clearly, obviously no excuses for Nick. He probably could have lost to Robbie Lawler anyway, but clearly there was something going on in his personal life. He was in much better physical condition just months ago. The last minute weight change to 185. A lot of weird stuff happened in this one. So that could also have something to do with why he I don't want to say gave up in there, but that could have something to do with why the fight ended the way it did, But ultimately, when Nick was in there in the first two rounds, he didn't look horrible. Like I said, in my other video, definitely the speed wasn't there, the power wasn't there, but And honestly, I don't even know if the grit was there necessarily. And obviously, he's a warrior, So obviously, it was there, but it didn't seem to me like he was really hunting a finish like he might have in other fights in his career. But regardless of any of that, we can't act like we can see what the guy is thinking, But regardless of any of that, while Nick Diaz was fighting in those first two rounds, he had great moments. The boxing, the combinations were going. He was landing shots. So, the question is, after a performance like that where Nick kind of questionably has enough and ends the fight on his own terms, like I said, at least he didn't get, brutally knocked out. I prefer the ending that we saw, But the question is, should he retire with an ending like that? Of course, we don't want the guy to go in there again and just get punched a few times and have sit down again. But, clearly there was some stuff going on in his personal life. So what if he goes to the UFC and he says, hey, look, there's a lot going on right now. I want to fight again in 8 months, but I need some time. Should he do that? Should the UFC book that or not? And if they do, I would love to watch it. So I would say, sure. If they all want to do it, why not? I wouldn't say no to the guy, but it has to be appropriate matchmaking, And I said this in my other video. Chael Sonnen mentioned a match between him and Damian Maia. I think that would be perfect, a perfect matchup. However, Damian Maia, of course, has retired. So has a guy like Carlos Condit, which I think could have been another good matchup. But Carlos Condit has also retired. But it definitely has to be an older guy like that who also has lost a little bit of speed, lost a little bit of power, things like that. A guy like Damian Maia would be a great matchup because it's a guy who's not necessarily a big puncher. He's not going to come out and try to knock the lights out of Nick Diaz, knock the lights out, for Nick Diaz. So a guy like Damian Maia, you're worried more about the grappling and stuff. And of course, Nick is very experienced on the ground there as well. So that would be a very fun fight to watch. And there's not too many guys with a style like that. So it's going to be hard to find someone like Damian Maia at this point, especially at that weight class between 170 and 185. However, if you could get a guy like Matt Brown, I think Matt Brown would be a good matchup, and Matt Brown probably hits a lot harder, but I don't know. I think it would be a good matchup, close in age, and, if Nick had a full camp with not too much going on in his personal life to where he doesn't want to fight, I could see that being a fight I would definitely be entertained to watch, But ultimately, if Nick does fight again, it has to be against a guy like Robbie, close in age, but Robbie clearly had the speed and the power advantage. Even though coming off 3 or 4 losses in a row, Robbie is, I think Nick has got to fight a guy that has been clearly long in the tooth for a little bit now. Like I said, Damian Maia really would have been the perfect fight. But if not a UFC fight, I'd also like to see Nick Diaz go do some celebrity boxing. Why not? He was pretty much just boxing in there anyway. Besides the spinning, jumping kick he threw to start the fight, he was pretty much just boxing in there anyway. So I'd love to see Nick get in there with a Paul brother or something like that, or another MMA guy, something like that. But really, I had a great time watching Nick in there. I would never want to watch someone who doesn't want to be in there. So if Nick doesn't want to fight, I do not want to see him fight. But wow, while Nick was in there, of course we were not watching championship caliber fighting, but it was fun to watch. And Nick, puts on a performance every time he gets in there. And, I definitely will not take that for granted. Anytime he does get in there, I will make sure I'm watching. But let me know what you guys think. What did you think of the fight between him and Robbie Lawler? I thought it was great while it lasted. It just ended, obviously, in a very odd way. And, given the way that it ended, do you think Nick Diaz should fight again? If he wants to, of course. And if he does fight again, who do you think he should fight? Like I said, I think Matt Brown is a decent matchup, but it's tough to find guys of that age and whatnot to match him up with. So let me know if you got Diego Sanchez would have been a perfect matchup if he was still in the UFC too. Maybe Cowboy Cerrone, Nick Diaz and Cowboy Cerrone. See, a guy like that, somebody like that would be perfect in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think about that. Who do you think should be next for Nick Diaz if he fights? Or do you think nobody should be next for Nick Diaz? Let me know what you think. Leave a like if you like this video. Subscribe for more videos like this one. We got videos coming every week, so subscribe for more. Let me know what you think. And thank you very much for watching.